NBA. Dr. Cohen, great to see you. Tell us about what the turnaround times look like for you guys, for the general public versus for the pro sports teams you're working with.
Sure. So thanks, Meg. So we have multiple different clients. We have governments, hospitals, physicians, all sorts of industries, sports franchises. We're talking with multiple colleges, public schools, urgent care, unions. So there are a whole host of different verticals of different types of people that need all sorts of testing. So what we've done in Florida is we actually have increased our capacity at our Melbourne laboratory. In addition, we're providing even more testing to our hospital, urgent care, physicians, and the general public. We also run a bunch of the testing for the drive-thrus. We do a whole slew of testing for different types of entities within the state. So actually within the last couple of weeks, we've actually increased the amount of resources we're providing to the state of Florida, in addition to the added platforms that we brought to the Melbourne laboratory.
Still, your turnaround times on average of 3 days for regular folks versus, reports we've seen of 12 to 15 hours to process the NBA players' tests. A lot of people feel like they need their health information. People in the public are getting tested because they're potentially worried about exposure to COVID. So is there a disparity here that you can fix?
No, I don't think there's a disparity. First off, on the turnaround time, we had extended our turnaround time a couple of weeks ago. We had, like many of the other commercial labs, had a longer turnaround time. And the reason that was, I think it's important to know, is we had a nursing home crisis here in New York. We signed up over 400 nursing homes in partnership with New York State. We tested 250,000 people, of the 250,000 employees, because of that vulnerable population. And we were very proud of that decision to help the state get through the pandemic with the nursing home crisis. That had a huge impact on our turnaround time for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. Then we regrouped, and now we're back to 2 to 3 days. In terms of when people's turnaround time, a lot of it depends on logistics. It depends on when that specimen is taken. It depends on which lab it goes to. It depends on when that specimen arrives in the laboratory, and it depends on which batch it goes into. So here's our commitment. Our commitment is, if a patient is in the hospital, if they're in the intensive care, if they're a healthcare worker, if they're a frontline worker, those people go to the front of the line. We've always done that since March 13th when we started our COVID testing, and we continue to do that today.
So Dr. Cohen, it's John Fort. Are you essentially saying this is the best that we can do, that you feel that we are as a nation, or maybe you're just speaking for you specifically, that we're triaging this correctly?
Well, that is a great question. So the question I would have for you is, if you're a large employer and thousands of employees go back to work because of your testing ability, where is that relative to a college or university or student going back to school? Where is that relative to a nursing home? Where is that relative to a hospital who's trying to bring back elective procedures to get up and running again? There are literally hundreds of different scenarios of people trying to get testing. We've had people who want to test for retail, hospitality, manufacturing, food service, professional services, casinos, sports franchises. So for us, I don't make the decisions, and we don't make the decisions about what those priorities are, except for the ones I talked about: healthcare workers, people in the ICUs, people in the hospitals, and of course, nursing home employees. But beyond that, there are really hundreds of different types of scenarios where people need testing.